Yes, people, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to the Daily Football Report on the Only. And on today's episode, we have a few hot things to talk about. Michael Owen's tweet about the Alexander Isak and Markey situation. We also bringing you some news down from Manchester United about André and possibilities not only Saudi, but another club interested. And Anthony's quotes about him going to Bayern Munich. But not only that, we're also going to be talking about the Grimsby Town situation with that ineligible player. And also the mighty trio that Aston Villa was able to get in the deadline window. So let's jump into it right away. Michael Owen. Now Michael Owen's supposed to be a legend, a senior, an elder, somebody who a young man growing up to be a footballer in England should try to idolize, because at the age of 17 years old, this man was on a madness. 18, 19. At an early age, he had a crazy career. So, he's not somebody that you can't look up to in terms of his playing career. This man tweet had 2.4 million views, yeah? And this is the best advice or the best thing he woke up one morning and decided to post. 6:51 in the morning, he decided to post. Behave badly and get the move you want. Behave like a gentleman and miss out on the opportunity of a lifetime. No prizes for guessing how players will act in the future if this is the result. Now, Michael Owen, you're supposed to be a legend. You forget, you see, and this is what shows you that these guys are uneducated, one, and probably maybe got hit too much times in the brain. Too many concussion, close concussive calls. You know, when you see people tweet things like this, you understand why in America and so they pass the rules where you can't head the ball from a certain age, or they've been trying to pass those rules. Because they have to worry about people like Michael Owen when their brain allows them to spew shit like that. Now, let's talk about some of the footballers that played for their clubs in the season. Even one of them won trophies with their club and then got a move after. Eze, Xavi Simons, Shesko, Openda, Nicholas Jackson, Rasmus Højlund. Now, Rasmus Højlund and Nicholas Jackson, a bit different. Rasmus Højlund was being outed by the club, but he still went to the game on the day, showed up for the club, showed his face, even if the club was telling him to get out. The kid was there, training hard, doing right by the team. Isak didn't have to play. He could have showed up. He could have done his thing. Okay, fine. Nicholas Jackson is also another story because, you know, he was on his way to Bayern Munich. He was there, but it's just unfortunate. It's an unfortunate situation. There's so much you can do when a player gets injured. And clearly, at least Jackson have respect. He went back to his club because he realized he was on the contract. No, I'm not saying Isak is wrong or right. I'm saying Isak is on the contract. He signed a contract. He's supposed to show up for work. Even if you don't want to work, you have to show up for your contract, dog. If you didn't want a contract, you should have been paid on a pay-by-play basis. For the people that don't understand that, is that every time he put on the kit and he played, then he would get paid. Now, how would that work out for him when in the last 3 seasons, he's missed 36 games? So that means overall, in the last 3 years he's been at Newcastle, he's only played 2 seasons. So we have to really think about all these statistics when we're thinking about certain things. Because we out here just saying, oh, Isak is right to do this, Isak is right to do this. And no one's talking about that this man was actually on the contract. And he decided he not show up. Now, not to go on too much about Isak, but Markey, he did it the right way. And unfortunately, he didn't get his move. But who's to know Crystal Palace doesn't take a turn for the right? And this is the blessing he needs. You know, this is what he needs. Some things just happen in life you have no control over. And you just have to deal with it. And instead of him making a big fuss saying, oh, I want to leave, it's deadline day, he didn't even celebrate like he was leaving because he wasn't sure and he wasn't going to do that to Crystal Palace. The guy doesn't even know if he wants to leave Palace again. And I know Palace. Palace might force him to get a new deal. And why would they not force him to get a new deal when they're about to take upward strides with this manager? So there's so much about that situation that for me, Michael Owen just needs to do better. But then André Onana's being linked to a move to Saudi. But also he's being linked, I think, to a move to Turkey. Now, André Onana needs to know what he's up to, bro. This guy walked in the door asking for more money after the fact he was one of the problems why the team didn't qualify in the top half of the table. You're taking the piss, dog. When you woke up that morning, you and your agent went on a run, drank a gallon of water, and decided that you were going to go to Carrington and leak there. Because I don't understand how you could have decided that that was what you were going to do. Okay, you made a few saves, your save percentages are high, but you were atrocious. You get your former manager fired, and that's the best thing you decide to get asked for. You should be working hard in the summer every day to get better. Holding on to the balls, catching the balls better, working on coming out and catching the balls. You have put yourself under so much unnecessary pressure. You go to your home country, I get it. Sorry. You go to your home country. You want to play outside of the goal. You end up getting photographed and videographers all over you. Instead, you have videos of you going working on your fucking catching Onana. And then you wonder why people have to have memes about you and all this. No, I'm sick and tired of all these Omama bloopers. All these Omama bloopers. Because y'all don't do it for Allison. Y'all don't do it for Edison. Y'all don't do it for Buffon. Y'all don't do it for De Gea. Y'all don't do it for none of those players. Why y'all don't go put agendas in those players? Why y'all don't go do a Courtois blooper? Why y'all will see goalkeepers look flimsy. They're the only ones doing what they do. So they are going to look flimsy because there's only one of them doing that in the whole game. It's so easy to identify what they are doing. So come on, people. Come on. We need to do better. But at the end of the day, I still think he put himself under that pressure. Now, do I think he needs to leave Manchester United? I do think that the club is pushing him out. And it's a sad look. It's not something nice to see. But talking about pushing out players, though, this guy here now, the club pushed him out, right? They said they didn't really want him. Okay? The GOAT. The one and only, the true Anthony, Ronaldinho, Messi, okay? Now, my boss now said that because he spoke with Bayern, so here's the quote. I'm just going to quote. I'm not going to I'm just going to quote it. I spoke with Bayern. I don't know if the salary was 7 million, but I said I had Betty's word, and that is 195% close, and that I would respect my word. So, let me tell you something about this, right? Because he's trying to make it seem like, well, he did something really good. Now, first of all, I respect the fact that you gave Betis your word, right? But Anthony, let's be honest, bro. Don't be delusional, yeah? You would never get game time at Bayern Munich, dog. Like, hey, let me type in Bayern Munich team right now, right? I'm typing in Bayern Munich starting lineup for the last game that they played right now. Let's just have a look at Bayern Munich's last lineup, yeah? Kane, Luis Diaz, Gnabry, Olise. Hey, Anthony, I don't even think you're coming off the bench in this team, dog. Because first of all, maybe you might get a little game time, but you're not starting front Olise, Gnabry, Luis Diaz, no Harry Kane. No way. And I honestly believe that Alexander Pavlovic gets a call and goes in the 10 before you get a chance to play in any part of that position. So, and especially if they got Nicholas Jackson as well, where you were going to go play? Where? So stop lying to the people when you hear you acting like, well, oh yeah, you were going to play here, you were going to play. You won't. You weren't going to play at Bayern. You would have been a squad player and probably not make Brazil. At least at Real Betis, you have a chance to make Brazil. So just be honest to the people. Like, be honest. Sometimes this is why people have to hate some of y'all, because y'all just can't be real about who y'all are as players. Not talking about being real and being real about players. Here we have Grimsby Town. Feeling an ineligible player, right? Named Clark Udo. Now, Grimsby Town not only fielded him, played him for over 25 minutes, but it's only because they had a registration for 1 minute after the deadline. No, I don't give a shit if it was 5 minutes, 1 minute, 1 second, a nanosecond. Bro, get the player registered before the time. You know how long you had before you could have registered this player? We knew Manchester United was going down to Grimsby. Yes, he was a new signing, but y'all just didn't need to field him. But clearly he was a part of the game, and that is what brings about the problem. Now, Jason Cundy from TalkSport talks about the situation. And of course, you know, he has some good points. I must say he has some good points, but of course they have to show bias somehow. So listen to what he has to say, and then we're going to react to it anyway.
First off, if you break the rules like that, I don't see a way how Grimsby can still be in the competition. I genuinely don't. And it sounds harsh, but I genuinely don't. If that happened if it was the other way round, would we be saying the same? Would we say, no, it's fine, 20 grand fine for Man United? Are we now judging it by the club? They broke the law. They broke the rules. I'm sorry.
So, I agree with him so far, yeah? They break the rules, you should be out the competition. This $20,000 fine, sugar, honey, iced tea they want to be talking about, dog. I don't know. So, yeah, I don't understand what this 20,000, because if Manchester United was to do this, the media, oh God, hey, they would, I'm telling you, especially international break, oh, they would have a feeling. I bet you even if Manchester United appeal, right, they're going to have something to say. If they don't appeal, they're going to have something to say. So they might as well just appeal. Okay, United, appeal.
You have to leave the competition. I genuinely feel that. I don't think Man United should get back in either, by the way.
No?
No, I think
Why?
Because they got knocked out. They got knocked.
Now, that for me is the dumbest thing I heard. That part for me, I'm just like, bro, are you ridiculous? So you're saying Manchester United shouldn't be in it anyway, but Manchester United is the team that they feel the bad play against. So you're saying, oh, Sheffield United should get a bye for Grimsby Town breaking the rules against Manchester United. So, you know, that's like saying, honestly, this is a perfect comparison. I should pay the neighbor for breaking in to your house. Bro, that is exactly what he's saying. So because I'm in the neighborhood, I should pay a neighbor for breaking into another neighbor's house. People, sometimes when you listen to these people talk, you can just hear how much they hate the club. You can just hear how much they hate the club. Now, Aston Villa did some really, really nice work on the transfer window in the last day. They brought in Victor Lindelof, Jadon Sancho, and Harvey Elliott. Now, as much as we don't like Sancho, I am so happy that Aston Villa went to get some Premier League proven players for Unai Emery. I was just hoping that they didn't leave him out in the cold with no players at all coming in. And to be fair, they brought in some good quality. Now, let's not kid ourselves. Yes, the chances of him getting the best out of Jadon Sancho is very grim. But yo, if he can start to get that team with Sancho, with Harvey Elliott, with Malen, with Matson, with Ollie Watkins, with Rodgers, whoo, kicking, that team is going to be a mess. And I'm telling y'all right now, if you see how happy he is, I'm going to do what these players bring to Aston Villa and give you a predicted lineup of how I think they're going to shape up and the different formations and stuff. So look out for that video coming out soon. But yeah, I'm telling you, the quality in which they have bought for new Unai Emery, I can even see the joy in his face that he has some quality players. And the way Emery plays actually suit every one of those players I've called. Which for me is amazing that they got them for little or nothing. You know, Sancho was around. Sancho is alone. Victor Lindelof is a free agent. And Harvey Elliott is just like 35 million. Yeah. People talking about Newcastle window. They're bringing in Wizard and all these players. And talking about Newcastle and Wizard. Newcastle made Wizard do the same thing they were upset about Isaac doing. And that for me is also one of the most upsetting things about that situation. You know, when you think about it, Newcastle fans was saying happy with Wizard, telling Brentford he's not going to play when Brentford actually gave him a career because he couldn't even get a start in nowhere else. No one even thought Wizard was good enough to strike in any sort of team until Thomas Frank believed in him one season, slowly brought him up to the Premier League, made him grow, and the minute Ivan Toney left, he and Mbeumo had their thing. Now, Wizard and Mbeumo, right, had a good duo. Mbeumo and Ivan Toney was a good duo. I've never seen Wizard with anyone else and be a good duo. So we have to see what he can do at Newcastle and see if Eddie Howe can bring out the best in him. Because to be fair, he does pick up spots in the box that are very dangerous. And if Newcastle can play with Anthony Gordon up front and be dynamic, there's no doubt that Wizard can play up front. So yes, people, it's been your boy Yaya, just bringing you some nice news from the Daily Football Report. Of course, you know we have to bring you news from all over, so you can have a basic understanding of what's going on in the football world. I don't want you to just go and just talk to fans of one football team. I want you to be able, after you leave the Daily Report, you can talk to everybody, not only from the Premier League, but from over Europe. So yes, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the page. Keep hitting the bell for notifications so we can keep bringing you great content going forward. Have a good time. Take care. Ciao, my people.